I'm Dan Herbert, instructor and course developer at Point Blank Music School. In this video we're going to get a feel for the eagerly anticipated release of Reactor 6 and focus on one of the exciting new additions to Reactor 6 called Reactor Blocks. Blocks is a series of synth modules or building blocks based on a conventional modular synthesizer. It not only offers classic sounding oscillators and filters but also throws in some modern twists. Couple this with endless routing and modulation possibilities and you can see this has real potential. Here at Point Blank Music School, we've been teaching Reactor for over 10 years on a sound design course and diplomas. You can study with us in London, LA or online, so to find out more information, head over to pointblanklondon.com. So Reactor 6 has been a long time coming, but it's now here. If you've never really used Reactor before, it runs as a standalone or software instrument plugin and effects plugin within your DAW and comes with an extensive Ensemble library. So you can load samplers, synthesizers, groove boxes, effects, processors and sequencers, and these in turn are crammed full of presets or snapshots as they're known. So this has huge sound design potential, whether for production or playing live. If presets are not your thing, then one of the most powerful aspects of Reactor is you can build and customize your own ensembles, and if you're really into programming, then you can get seriously deep with Corcel. So let's load up Reactor. And as you can see, they've updated and streamlined the design of the interface, but still maintained the familiar layout. The redesign of the side pane for the browser and properties certainly seems slicker and less cluttered than previous versions. You'll also notice that some of the functionality has moved. So for example, in the top right, we can split the screens vertically or horizontally. So let's come back to the browser and we can load ensembles like Contour, Molecular, Monarch, Razor, as well as the extensive Reactor factory library as well. Now, as I said, one of the exciting developments of Reactor 6 is Reactor Blocks, and this comes with a number of pre-existing ensembles, and as you'd expect, these sound awesome. So I've just loaded up Drive, and the default snapshot for this is called Wand. Let me just close the browser so we can see all the blocks. So you can hear that sounds pretty epic. Let's just come down here, jacking thing. How about loading trancer? Or for something a bit more twisted, Fauna is pretty full on. So you can see here there's lots of individual modules or building blocks just so you would find within a modular synth. There's oscillators here, so this one for example looks like it's based on something like the Juno 106. Here's oscillated recognised from Monarch, so based on the Moog. We've also got envelopes down here, mixers for example. This is a kind of driver unit which allows you to filter as well as kind of a bit of distortion as well as some modulation options, and it's kind of important to reinforce that pretty much all these parameters can be modulated in some way. And down here you'll recognise these effects, the delay and reverb from rounds, and we'll be exploring some of these in more detail in another video. Now here's the interesting thing, if you're already in edit mode then we can just click here and it will display the structure underneath. So it's as though you're looking inside the synthesizer and you can see exactly how it's been created. So we've got exactly the same blocks here, note-in, modulation, envelope, oscillators here, as well as kind of mixers, and we can go all the way across to the final stereo output and then out of Reactor. To actually add these blocks in, it's really quite easy. Again, you need to be in edit mode, go to library, and then you'll find Reactor Blocks, and then you can just choose from one of the subcategories, and then it's just a question of drag and dropping in. So you can customize existing ensembles or you can create from scratch. Be aware that if you do customize existing ensembles, you might find that the snapshots or when you're working with automation won't work. So just be aware of that and always work on a copy. So let's just delete that for now, come back to the panel, and I'm going to switch back to the one preset. So to edit these sounds, really quite easy. I'm just going to come over to driver here and let's push up the resonance a bit, pull down the cutoff. So many of these snapshots are quite expressive, so I'm changing the cutoff there just purely through velocity. And you can see here this little arrow indicating the amount of modulation. If you want to tweak and store any snapshots, then you'll need to be in edit mode and then click on the snapshot icon. The other really important thing is you need to make sure you've got the Ensemble selected from this menu here, so Ensemble Drive. And then all we need to do is simply click on Add and then give it a name, Dark Wand, hit return, and that's now stored. The other really important thing you'll need to do is actually save the ensemble. If you quit without saving, you'll lose all your work. So go to File, Save Ensemble As, or if you go to Save Ensemble, it will force you to save as a new file if you're working on the original ensemble. And a good location to save it is in your user library. So this will be in Users, your user directory, Documents, there's Native Instruments folder, Reactor 6, and there's my ensemble folder, and let's just call that Drive Edit, and then hit Save. Now, the interesting thing about these snapshots is the blocks are in fact Reactor instruments, so each block can have its own set of presets. So if we come back up here and select driver, and you can now see we have a number of snapshots specific to that block. If I just undo split screen here and then select a different snapshot, you can see the parameters being recalled. So you could customize these further, and this has a lot of potential if you're using blocks in a live context. We've also got a number of other ensembles, so Duality, Quadropolis, Quant FM, and Steps. These all have a step sequencer within them. So to hear the sound, if I play a note, it's MIDI coming in, you can't hear anything. If I press play here, then we get sound out. So you'll need to press play in Reactor or within your host DAW. Another ensemble is Car Raben. Don't save that. It's a cool sound in here called Dunk Hoover. Holding the note down. So hopefully this introduction to Reactor 6 and Reactor Blocks has been useful. Blocks is a great sounding monophonic modular synthesizer, and I think it's really exciting because it sets up this framework for developers to create small and manageable building blocks which are far simpler to connect and use. Make sure you check out our other Reactor 6 videos where we'll be exploring Reactor Blocks in a bit more detail.